We're going to just do that, of course, and it's going to fly all over the place and be ridiculous on me. So, where are we at? We're in Indiana. Obviously, I'm in some traffic right now. I want to be paying attention so I don't slam into everybody. On my way out to Iowa so that I can begin to look for a new place for October 1st in the escape from New York that has to happen. And if you don't know why, I mean, you must not be paying attention to the news. On top of the spike in crime, the huge spike in unemployment, the sanitation, the gun violence, the defunding of not only the police, because that's very real, that especially in upstate New York law enforcement circles, local police departments, everybody in New York State, I want to make this extremely clear. All police departments in New York State had to submit a plan on how to reimagine their office, okay, which includes cuts. And now it's finally making its way to a lot of these people that thought they were going to keep their jobs in local government on top of the police, where they're losing their jobs too. Where the budgets have been cut, there's no money coming in. Mayors like mine in Oneonta, Gary Herzig, have no spine. They're jellyfish. They will do whatever they're told, and they will eviscerate small businesses and local governments on behalf of Andrew Capo Cuomo and his masters in the predator class. And this should be alarming, because this seems to be like the norm. This seems to be the model that we're just going to lock down until 2022. You know, and when I say we, I don't just mean New York. You know, through this whole country, you know, last month I drove all the way to South Dakota and back. I'll be honest, I've been driving all night. I jumped in my car after Mixed Martial Mindset last night, like a little bit before 8. I gathered stuff up. We do that 6 to 7 p.m. every week with John Fitch. And, you know, it's not like I've gotten out of the car as much, but I am seeing road signs everywhere that, you know, COVID-19 is still a threat. Wash your hands. I just saw one here in Indiana, and it pisses me off. I'm really hoping that I'm not going to see this in Iowa when I get there. I'm a few hours out, and again, I've got a few places I'll be checking out myself. This is an AMA, so throw your question up, but this isn't a normal one where I'm going to be able to go through everybody's question. I'll randomly look up. Remember, we're in traffic. The screen is very, very tiny, but I will look up and I will check out your questions and comments and definitely try to answer what I can when I can. So weird. I wonder if there's an accident up here, or maybe this is just I don't know. Maybe there's an accident. Maybe this is just like, what is it? It's like 10 a.m. here, 10 a.m. traffic. Do I think that QAnon is banned? No, I don't. I don't think Steve Bannon has anything to do with QAnon. I don't know. I don't even know why anybody would say that. Bannon's fingerprints aren't on it at all. Not that I know of. COVID checkpoint, safe travels. You're in God's country. 8094 eastbound sucks, trust me. I'm here now. I'm on, what am I on? I'm on 80 West. And I'm continuing on 80 West once I get there. But it looks like maybe now we finally got to the point where it's opening up a bit. I don't know. 4-lane highways, you would think that they would keep this under wraps. Let's see. I was joking. Okay. Why am I leaving? Well, I'll tell you what. Even before COVID-1984, New York was kind of getting out of control, right? Mandatory vaccines, getting rid of the religious exemption. That was a big thing that I did not like. And then on top of that, in January, when they did catch and release bail reform, and then retroactively started releasing criminals, I was like, wow, probably time to get out of here. And then COVID-1984 hit, and New York is one of the most restrictive states. It's going nowhere quick. I think the infection rate 2 days ago was something like 0.66%, but we did it. We're in phase 4 over there, and nothing's changed. Instead, everybody's LARPing with a mask on, with no evidence. They're shutting down Main Street every week and acting like it's a 1950s or 60s party where I am. I'm seeing troves of zombies that are college age, 18 to 24, that are masking up in 90-degree weather. Why wouldn't I leave? Why wouldn't I leave? When I go to a bar, someone shoves a hot dog or a fucking corn dog in my face so they can serve me a beer and they can continue to LARP. Well, I have to sit there by myself or at a table in a group, and I'm not allowed to get up and take a piss 5 feet away unless I wear a mask. Those are some of the reasons I'm leaving New York. Just some. And it sucks because, again, I love my upstate New York town. I love my community. If you watched last week or just a couple days ago, right? What did I do? I did an impromptu interview with a nurse who works in the operating room that I've known for 20 years. And he confirmed pretty much everything I've been saying about this, is that they're pushing for a lockdown until 2022, not 2021. I know a lot of you guys out there are still thinking...
Welcome to Illinois.
Oh, we just hit Illinois. Look at that. We're from Indiana to Illinois. I know a lot of you out there are thinking that somehow this just magically ends, okay? Magically ends in January if Biden gets in. No. Biden is running on a campaign of mandatory masks, okay? Biden openly said he would shut it down and listen to the scientists. There are no scientists, all right? You're talking to the predator class. If we were talking to scientists, there would be a diverse panel of different people with opposing opinions, and we would hear all of them. We don't have that. That's not real. Okay? That's not a real thing. It's really upsetting that we don't have that, but we don't. Ends when Trump is reelected. You're out of your mind. You think this ends when Trump is reelected. Let me clue people in. Trump just held that press conference about convalescent plasma, right? Now that was a move by him to, again, try to show the absurdity that there are no treatments for this, because that's what they're still telling you. There's no treatment. There's no treatment. There's no treatment. There's no treatments. They keep what? Obfuscating the fact that there are over 300 peer-reviewed papers on the safety of hydroxychloroquine. They keep ignoring the fact that you have a Yale epidemiologist writing an op-ed in Newsweek talking about it. That has to be an opinion piece. Totally ignoring that. And then, when they did the convalescent plasma press conference, you know, they quickly and briefly mentioned what? 2 different drugs that have now been deemed okay by authoritative sources. One of them, dextromethasone, which is a steroid. Now, some doctors are treating this with other steroids. Budesonide, aerosolized steroids through a nebulizer. That's all being used. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, guys. Woo! A little coffee. So that's being used. Then, if you don't want to go the hydroxychloroquine route, you have remdesivir. Okay, there's another drug that, when you look into it, the raw materials for 10 days of treatment costs $10. Let me repeat that. The raw materials cost about $10 for a 10-day treatment. They're gonna charge you $2 to $5 grand. What? And now let's get to the convalescent plasma, right? For all those that think, oh, once Trump gets reelected, it's all over. He has as much power now as he would if he is reelected in January. And remember, everybody acts like on November 3rd we're gonna know. Absolutely not. If we have mail-in voting, no matter what, no matter which side says you win, it's all going to be challenged. All of it. We won't know for weeks, months, who knows how long, who's going to be the president of the United States, okay? So he talks about the convalescent plasma treatment. And when they talk about it creating antibodies in the system, okay? So people that have gotten this have gotten better, produced antibodies, gave up their plasma, and then they're now sharing that. But when the facts aren't the facts, right? When Andrew Cuomo is running commercials literally saying, well, it doesn't matter if you have the antibodies. I'm not kidding. We played that commercial probably 3-4 weeks back where, you know, he was talking about young people getting together and I have the antibodies. None of this is, the facts aren't the facts, right? So they've already set you up to let you know that, again, when Bill Gates tells you lockdown until at least 2022, that's just the beginning. That's not even the end of it. All right, when he's telling you 2 separate vaccines, right? In other words, 2 doses at least, and then several for other people who might be elderly, etc. That's just letting you know. And then he tells you that we don't know if they'll work. We don't know if they'll work to stop transmission. And we don't know if they'll work to lower the mortality rate. Now, what are they going to work to do? Give you the antibodies. That's it. The same thing this convalescent plasma treatment does is what they're claiming these vaccines are going to do, right? I want to repeat that. Bill Gates is openly saying there is no evidence that this will prevent transmission or lower the mortality rate. Simply give you antibodies for several weeks to several months. Well, why not just use the convalescent plasma treatment then, if that's all we're doing? Because that's all that's doing. But people aren't connecting the dots of 1 + 1 = 2, 2 + 2 = 4. Bill Gates plus COVID-1984 equals tyranny. That's the problem. That's the big issue. Let's see. What do we got in the questions here, guys? LOL, LOL. Good luck, Jason. Have a safe trip. We're trying. We're trying. Okay, so we got to get over here. Do I have a toll to pay? Really? Didn't know I was going to have a toll to pay. Let's see. It's already happening. True about the election. The election's going to be scary, guys. And normally, again, I am not a right-left guy at all. I'm never going to be a right-left guy.
In half a mile, keep right at the fork to stay on I-80 West. Follow signs for Iowa.
I will do that. But in this particular election, okay, I'm not going to lie. I think there is a difference. I think there is a difference. I'm not happy about it. I'm not sitting here saying vote Republican or Trump train or any of that.
Keep right at the fork to stay on I-80 West.
But the fact of the matter is, Trump is not running on a campaign of nationwide mandatory masks. The other guy, who can barely drool on himself in the morning and know where he is in the evening, right? That guy?
Keep left at the fork to stay on I-80 West.
I'm just pointing that out. He is running on that platform. Make no mistakes about it. Okay? So that's all blocked off. Okay.
Continue for 154 miles.
Oh, we got 154 miles, huh? And there is no toll? Wow, that's, geez. So what's going on here? Sorry, guys, I'm just... Oh, I see. Open road tolling. We got the nice little cameras up there. It told me I was going to get tolled out, and now I'm just going to get a bill in the mail. Awesome. And again, the other guy's also running on openly saying he would shut it down. If they had their way, the shutdowns would be nationwide. There would be no South Dakota response. There would be no Iowa response. Remember, one of the reasons I'm moving here to Iowa, right? And I'm right now in Illinois. I'll get to the Iowa border probably in a couple hours, 2-3 hours, is that I was able to go to a sporting event this summer with 3,500 people, which the media completely ignored. Completely ignored it, guys. Never talked about it. You know, basically, you know, acknowledged that there was 3,500 people in certain outlets, and that's about it. Never followed up to see if there was going to be any spikes. There were no spikes in Iowa, no spikes in the Quad Cities, no spikes in Illinois that coincided at all with this outdoor sporting event where people were, you know, shaking hands, sharing beers, hitting pens, having a good time. There have been no spikes in New York after all these protests, right? 0.66%. And if you watch my Mixed Martial Mindset last night, man, I'm sorry about that. I guess, where are we? See, Chicagoland Outlet. You'd think I'd have great service here. I'm on a highway. Anyway, this Market Watch article, again, go check out Mixed Martial Mindset. It says they have probably achieved herd immunity in Sweden that had no lockdown, that had better numbers per 100,000 in the death rate than what? Than Belgium, than Spain, than Italy and others that did have severe lockdowns. Let me repeat that. That did have severe lockdowns, and Sweden didn't. And everybody tried to demonize Sweden and say, "Oh, this is it. We knew it. You know, they're bad. They're bad. They're bad." Meanwhile, if you look at New York's infection rate of 0.66%, 20 million people, right? 10 million people down in New York City and Long Island, 10 million in the rest of the state, about, I believe it's 50,000 square miles for the whole state, right? Vast majority much lower, by the way. But anyway, when I say lower, I mean 10 million people are probably living in like 4,000 to 7,000 square miles. New York City and Long Island. Now we have a 0.66% infection rate, and no one's talking about herd immunity in New York. But if you look at Sweden and the time frame, and the fact now we're 6 months past lockdown, right? Five and a half, 6 months. Why isn't anyone talking about herd immunity? Why isn't anyone talking about our immune system? Why isn't anyone talking about pushing back on all this draconian legislation out there for a mandatory, let's see. Somebody was just hitting me up in the thing. Mandatory vaccination legislation, right? Like, if this vaccine, according to Bill Gates, you don't know if it's going to lower the mortality rate. The WHO has this mortality rate at what? 0.6%. Now, they came out yesterday and said this has a 35% improvement with the convalescent plasma, right? A 35% improvement of mortality rate with the convalescent plasma. All right, so like if that's the case, and they can reproduce this, that would take that 0.6%, okay, and lower it to about 0.2. All right, one is the treatment here now. Could the lockdowns end? Could we stop LARPing with masks? And if you get this thing, you just get treated early. The other thing is that, you know, Cuomo will sit there and act like, oh, well, the parents and the teachers are so scared of school, and they're so scared to send their kids back to school, and they want answers. He's totally full of fucking shit. He's totally fucking full of shit. He knows why the parents don't want to send their kids there. Why? Because if they get a sore throat, diarrhea, a cough, runny nose, all of these, out of the gates, they assume is COVID. So they take your kid, they isolate your kid, and then you got to come get them, and then the contact tracers get in your life, and they got to take a test. And remember, guys, a lot of these tests are what? False positives. Even our dark overlord, Bill Gates, has called most of the tests in the United States complete garbage. Here we are 5+ months later, complete garbage. All right, so now we have a test that treats pretty much any coronavirus as COVID-19 84, and then contact tracers get in your life, and then you're in the record, and they want you to quarantine and stay home, and you can't work now. What do you think they're worried about? Okay? They're not worried about anyone getting actually sick, or that their child is going to die, or that they're going to get incredibly ill. They're worried about the government getting in their lives and demanding that they act a certain way after the fact. That's all that is. That's all that is. And you'll just see the fucking spin again and again and again by Cuomo and the mainstream media that's still pushing that monster as America's governor. America's governor, my asshole. But again, when you are running a visibly senile man for the President of the United States of America, who can barely keep his eyes open. I mean, watch that Cardi B interview. Zombie Joe. It ain't Joey B. It ain't Sleepy Joe. We are in the zombie apocalypse led by the zombie Biden group. Anyone but Trump. We just got to get him out of there, and somehow we're going to save the world. And the ignorance of Cardi B is the ignorance of your standard, I have no idea what the fuck is going on American. She said, I just want to know when I can go outside. I just want to know when I can go back to work. Most people want to know this stuff. But the truth is, it's today if we push back. And it's not tomorrow if you put your faith in Zombie Joe. And she just seemed to have no idea about any of it. Really upsetting. So guys, I figured I'd rant and rave for a good 20 minutes while I was on the road. Again, been driving all night. Took a bit of a nap in a rest area, but should be hitting Iowa, where I'm going to be probably somewhere around 12:30, 1 o'clock. And then find myself a hotel and start looking at all these places that I've already looked at online and see if I can't grab myself a new spot for October 1st, man. That's what this point is. Let's get out of New York. Let's escape. Still no word on whether my family's going to come out. I couldn't get a commitment. That's kind of breaking my heart. But what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to find a 3-bedroom. It's either going to be a 2 or a 3. And if the 3 is that good, and if I'm only spending a nominal amount of extra money, I'll get it just in case they are going to make that decision and come out. But we'll see, man. You know, I'm already missing the girls. And I'm hoping they're going to come out. But I can't do it without you guys either, because everything you just heard, according to YouTube now, is harmful content and it cannot be monetized. So the GoFundMe link is down below. $5, $10, $15, it means the world to me. Big donors, could not do it without you. Let's see. Safe travels. Thank you, Liberty Justice. I appreciate it. You know, again, guys, we're trying to do it big, and I'll be looking at places today that hopefully I'll have a cool new office. We'll still be able to do the videos in the way that we do them at home. Well, maybe even expand. I would love to be able to make a little small studio for in-person interviews. Not that there's going to be a ton of in-person interviews in Iowa, but hey, we're going to try to get a hold of Pat Miletich and do another broadcast with him, which I'm excited about. So guys, I absolutely love you. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you on the flip side.